Introduction to Social Sciences Winter Tutorial Presentation by Martina Torchevia. Hello class, my name is Martina. Today I will be sharing with you my presentation based on the material covered in week 21's lecture. During that week, we focused on the topic Sustainable Development and Ecology. It is important to be sustainable in our everyday lives because it contributes to making our Earth a better place and a more comfortable place to live. Without sustainable development, we can face many problems such as loss of land, environmental degradation, pollution, and many more issues. For example, loss of farmland continues to occur and arable land is getting paved over to be used as roads for highways. Another major problem that we are able to combat with sustainable development is food insecurity, which we will be focusing on more today. The question I will be answering throughout today's presentation is, why are so many people around the world dealing with a lack of food security if there is enough food for everyone? I will be taking a deeper look into what food security is, the multiple reasons why this is happening, where this lack of food security is happening throughout the world, and more. To begin, let's take a look at the definition of food security and what it entails. Food security refers to the state in which all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious foods. These foods must meet their dietary needs and food preferences as well for an active and healthy life. There are 4 key factors regarding food security. The first factor is availability. This factor means that a sufficient quantity of food must be consistently available on a national or global scale. This includes both food produced domestically and food imported from other regions. The second key factor is access. Individuals must have the economic means to obtain food, either through purchasing power or through support mechanisms such as social safety nets, subsidies, or food assistance programs. Utilization is the next key factor. Utilization talks about how food must be of adequate quality and nutritional value to meet dietary needs and support good health. This includes considerations such as food safety, hygiene, and dietary diversity. Lastly, sustainability is another key factor when discussing food security. Food security requires that access to food is stable over time, without sudden disruptions due to factors like price spikes, natural disasters, conflicts, or political instability. As we can see, achieving food security is essential for ensuring the well-being and development of individuals, communities, and nations. It requires coordinated efforts across multiple sectors, including agriculture, trade, health, social welfare, as well as policies and interventions that address the root causes of food insecurity. So now we can take a look at this data. This is a Global Food Security Index from 2022, and this image is from The Economist, and it looks at food security around the world. So as we could see in the top left corner, there's a score and a scale. So it goes up by 10, and each 10, the color changes. So 0 means that the country is experiencing a lot of food insecurity, and as the numbers increase and as the colors change, it means that that country has less and less food insecurity and better food security. So as we can see in places such as the United States, Canada, and Australia, their food security is about in the 80s range. As we can see, that dark blue color matches with the 70 to 80 range, meaning that their food security is pretty strong and that a lot of their citizens aren't experiencing food insecurity. So as we look higher onto the scale into the 80s to 90s range, so that next shade of dark blue, countries such as France, Ireland, Norway, and Finland are all in this category, meaning that they have even better food security than the places with 70 to 80 range, 60 to 70 range, and so on. Now, although many countries are experiencing a good amount of food security, there are also many countries who are experiencing a lack of food security. So as we can see, the pink color, so this food security color is ranging from 40 to 50, meaning it's not so high on the scale, and a lot of places in Africa are experiencing this lack of food security. So this next statistic just helps us focus on the countries with the most food security. So this is from Statista, and it's based on the world's top countries for food security, and this index scores for the affordability, availability, natural resources, safety, and quality of food in 2020. So as we could see, Finland is in first place with 85.3% of the country with food security, followed by Ireland, the Netherlands, Austria, Czech Republic, the United Kingdom, Sweden, Israel, Japan, Switzerland, the United States, and Canada. So although these countries do have a stronger amount of food security, there are still many that have a lack of food security. Now that we know about the countries with strong food security, we can take a closer look at the countries that are experiencing this lack of food security and why. Unfortunately, despite there being enough food for everyone in the world, there are multiple reasons why so many people around the world are dealing with the lack of food security. About 2 billion out of the 7 billion people in the world are food insecure because they do not meet one or several of the factors of food security that I discussed earlier. Reasons such as climate change and environmental degradation, poverty and economic inequality, and conflict and political instability are all reasons that contribute to countries experiencing a lack of food security across the world. Firstly, climate change and environmental degradation is a very big factor that contributes to food insecurity. Climate change poses a significant threat to food security by altering water patterns, increasing the frequency and severity of extreme weather events such as droughts, floods, and storms. These events can disrupt agricultural production, leading to crop failures, livestock losses, and reduced yields. Environmental degradation such as soil erosion, deforestation, and loss of biodiversity creates food insecurity as well by worsening land and water resources that are essential for agriculture. Next, poverty and economic inequality is another reason why food insecurity exists. In many parts of the world, people do not have proper access to the financial resources to be able to obtain an adequate and nutritious diet. They may be unable to afford grocery store food prices or to purchase sufficient amounts that will align with their dietary needs. Economic inequality furthers this problem too. In countries with a strong capability of food production, there are large disparities in income and wealth distribution. This may lead to unequal access to food. Those with low incomes may struggle to afford nutritious food, leading to malnutrition and food insecurity. The last reason that I will be discussing on why there is a lack of food security around the world, despite there being enough food for everyone, is due to conflict, political instability, and displacement. Conflict, political instability, and displacement disrupts food systems by displacing populations, destroying infrastructure, and disrupting trade and markets. In conflict-affected areas, people may be forced to flee their homes, leaving behind their livelihoods and access to food. Conflict also negatively impacts agricultural activities. Farmers may be unable to access their land or may face insecurity when attempting to cultivate crops or raise livestock. Additionally, conflict can lead to the destruction of food stocks, markets, and essential infrastructure such as roads and irrigation systems. If all of this is happening, food production becomes at a risk of being paused, and it can lead to everyone not being able to have access to it fast enough. Overall, there are many reasons for food insecurity around the world. To conclude, there are many reasons why so many people around the world are dealing with a lack of food security if there is enough food for everyone. Food plays an essential role in performance and well-being, so it is vital that a solution is found to this problem so that everyone can have access to proper and healthy food. Throughout this presentation, we have discussed what food security is, the 4 factors that contribute to food security, countries around the world that have good food security compared to those who do not, and 3 of many reasons why so many people deal with a lack of food security on a daily basis. Now, I will leave you with some questions to think about based on the information I have just shared with you. What are some effective strategies for addressing food security on a global scale? How do social and cultural factors influence food security within communities? How do emerging trends such as urbanization and dietary shifts impact food security globally? Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you were able to learn something new.